Latchkey kid. Have you ever heard the term latchkey kid? If you have, you know what I'm referring to. If you haven't, look it up real quick. Pause the video and go learn about it. Through the years, I've had people say that they believed I was a latchkey kid. They base that on things I told them about my childhood. Well, over the years, I guess there were times when I found that offensive, and I thought that that wasn't true. Looking at it now from a different perspective, I realize that that's absolutely what I was. I was a latchkey kid. I do a lot of watching Dr. Phil when I'm working, and I've learned a lot of things about expectations of how children are supposed to grow up with their parents, what parents are supposed to do to prepare their children to be an adult. I realize that that is the exact opposite of what my parents did. I really lived my own life. I really did a lot of being alone and or spending time with my friends. But I didn't do much time where I had parents that spent time with me, sat down with me, helped me do homework, ate dinner with me. I didn't have that traditional lifestyle that when I was growing up, there were a lot of other kids that did. When I would go to friends' houses and they all ate dinner together, I was shocked. I mean, it wasn't something that I understood. My house didn't do that. We didn't do that. Eating at my house was kind of like you just fend for yourself. You basically go in the refrigerator, and at my mom's house, you would hope that there was food in the refrigerator, and if there was, you might grab something, and a lot of times that would lead to my mother being upset with me because it was always something that was meant for her. You know, I guess the idea of me eating was a hassle for her. Now, when I was at my grandmother's house, my grandmother always cooked chicken and rice. She did a lot of that. My grandmother was not a cook at all, so chicken and rice was her go-to. Just put it in a pot, it's done, she knew how to do it. She would put dumplings in there, and it was also, a lot of times, also just, fend for yourself. My grandmother liked to cook a lot of toast with butter. That was a big thing. My grandmother was a big toast eater. So I ate a lot of toast, to be honest with you. My grandmother was not a cook. She did not grow up in the days of Chef Ramsay. She just didn't like to cook or do anything like that. That's possibly how maybe as a teenager I was kind of like the same way. Fast forward, I love cooking now, but as a teenager, I didn't have any interest in things like that. Anything that was domestic or what a woman was technically supposed to do, I had zero interest in. I just wanted to listen to heavy metal, hang out with my friends, go to concerts, and just pretty much have a fun kid life. And that's how I lived. I was outside as much as possible. I would stay up as late as possible. I would be out and about as late as possible. My grandmother would be sleeping. So if she was asleep, she wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. And same thing, if I was at my mother's, she had to get up early. She did work every day, and she'd have to get up early. So she wasn't paying attention to me either. So at her house, I would go out and stay out late and with my ghetto blaster, and that's what they were called. And I would just hang out with friends or listen to my music and just sit like in the driveway all night. I lived back and forth between my mother and my grandmother. Um, Equally, no matter which place I was at, I pretty much did whatever. It was a little bit more restrictive at my mom's because I didn't have any friends, female friends, for a while that I could hang out with. Years later, um, when I was in my teens, I did have some at my mom's location, so it was more fun. But for a while there, you know, I definitely lived a much easier life at my grandmother's. Um, I just did whatever, to be honest with you. I just come and go as I pleased. Um, I smoked cigarettes. I acted like a heavy metal child. And I say that because they were rebellious years, a lot of rebellion. Um, that's just kind of how kids were. And I just didn't have any guidance and I didn't have any structure. I didn't have parents that were tuned in, interested in me. And I realize now that that was a downfall for me. I didn't know what structure was. I didn't know what responsibilities were. I didn't know what it was like to have to do chores and get paid and learn, you know, what a job would be like, where you do your work and you get a paycheck, which is your reward. I wasn't taught these things. So in my teenage years, I didn't grow up very fast in the way of maturity. Um, I grew up fast in the way that I was living a lifestyle that was probably more advanced for the age I was at, but immaturity wise, I mean, I wasn't really growing up in the way of learning responsibilities and learning how to be a great adult. I wasn't learning that, adults have to do certain things. I was just kind of just kept living by the seat of my pants, just doing whatever I wanted. And I just wish that I had that structured lifestyle that, like, Dr. Phil talks about, where parents are tuned in and they're raising their children. They're really active. They care about their children doing their homework, their children sitting down to dinner with them, that traditional type of lifestyle that I did not have. And I have seen the difference from ages of success with other people that, they're in their 20s and they were already getting successful. That was not the case for me.